And who are these occupiers now?
Okay, that was good segue. I was going to build off Bill's point. He makes a good point. When I talked about the land acquisitions, it was like everywhere, anywhere and everywhere would buy land. You had like developers that never developed a building in Burlington buying in Burlington, right? And the fundamentals go back to the historical average. So interesting fact on Burlington, Oakville, from that area. I know the market very well. The average deal size.
I call you the Meadowvale Hawk.
That's in Mississauga, but yes, we've already told that story. You can look it up on 2020 June podcast. But anyways, Bill makes a great point. This is very, very important. I think people find this interesting. We're back to market fundamentals. So Oakville Burlington's 10-year historical average is roughly 30,000 square feet to 20,000 square foot deals, right? When you're sitting with 100,000 square feet, you have one or two options. You better hope that building get chopped up into 30,000 square feet. But then you have all the 40-foot clear, 36-foot clear developers for big block warehousing. Not every tenant wants that, right? They don't need it. They don't have the right forklift equipment. They don't want to buy new racking. They're fine with 28-foot clear, or even in some cases 24. And then back to Peel, you're seeing the return to tenants along the 401 don't want to go to the QEW or don't want to go to Milton when they have 100,000 or 200,000 square feet at Steeles and Airport Road, right? And to us, that is like your downtown in multifamily. The core is Vaughan, Mississauga, North Mississauga, Vaughan, and Brampton, right? And if you're a tenant that's in that market, you now have choice. Like we could probably rhyme off some surveys. Like if you put 100,000 square foot survey together, I actually have a cool stat.
We have like 30 options now.
I have a cool stat I wrote it in, you were the one that motivated me to do this newsletter. So I did it. And I don't remember the exact date that I pulled the stat, but it was within the last 6 months. In 2019, there was 16 buildings in the GTA available over 100,000 square feet. In 2022, it went down to 9. In 2024 Q4 or 2025 Q1, it was one or the other, it was 67. It went from 9 to 67. So back to Bill's point, it's the same product that's available. So if you have a request for proposal, you're competing against 10 buildings or 5 buildings versus in the pandemic, it was literally like, here's the deal. If you don't want it, as Bill said, there's 4 companies behind it. And that was a freezer deal before the pandemic, but nonetheless, the same kind of conversation. So now you're back to people are like, oh, it must just be a tenants market. It's like, it's balanced market. It's tenants market in certain size ranges. It's a landlord's market in other size ranges. And it's very asset dependent. And there's a huge spread between expectations on landlords, depending on their assets and depending on their debt and depending on the motivation and how long the building's sitting. For example, if you're a developer and you're building a brand new building and it's not vacant yet and you're finishing construction, you're not going to be as stressed. Right. If your building's been sitting for multiple years, you probably are a little more motivated to get a deal done.